Rassie Erasmus has offered his first in-depth reflection on the recent World Rugby Shape of the Game Summit, marking his return to the global forum following a period of enforced absence. As head coach of the Springboks, Erasmus attended the gathering as part of the South African delegation, which included SA Rugby CEO Rian Oberholzer, assistant coach Felix Jones, and national law advisor Jaco Peyper. The summit, held in London, brought together roughly 200 of the game's most influential figures to discuss rugby's future across all facets, from performance and law trials to commercial strategy and global growth. While Erasmus is no stranger to such meetings, having served on several World Rugby committees in the past, he had missed the last few years after being banned for publicly criticizing referees. His return as an observer offered a rare chance to reconnect with international colleagues and gain a first-hand perspective on decision-making at the highest level. Reconnecting with World Rugby, "I'm very glad that we went," Erasmus told reporters during a media session in Cape Town. "I used to always go, but then I got banned and couldn't go for the next couple of years. This is the first time that I joined since I was banned, and I'm glad that I did." Sometimes you get out of touch with World Rugby by just doing virtual calls, emails, and following them on Instagram or whatever. You want to see them eye to eye, and I feel that happened over the couple of days. Erasmus explained that the Shape of the Game meetings are structured to allow for both plenary sessions and smaller breakaway groups. While the plenary sessions cover broad issues affecting the global rugby community, the breakaways focus on specific areas, including high performance, refereeing, and commercial operations. Although Erasmus no longer holds a permanent committee seat, he found that being present as an observer still allowed him to contribute meaningfully to discussions and provide insight from South Africa's perspective. The way they operate is one big global meeting with everyone there, and then they break away into different areas like high performance, commercial, and so on, he said. "I used to be part of one of those committees that ran those side meetings. I'm not anymore, but I was an observer, and you can still have input. It was well structured because at the first meeting I thought, AG, why did I fly here? But I enjoyed the ones after that." What's nice is that the committee running those meetings are there in person. They don't come in and out like the observers. It was a good week to meet the guys face to face to talk about the discussions, and I'm fairly satisfied that we expressed our opinion and World Rugby are making the decisions. Contrasting opinions. A waste of time versus constructive engagement. Not all high-profile rugby figures shared Erasmus' view on the summit's value. Eddie Jones, head coach of Japan, labeled the gathering a waste of time, critiquing the process for its length and perceived inefficiency. Speaking on the Rugby Unity podcast, Jones said, "It's a joke, mate. The game needs to get sorted out. We can all see that, but because they had so many people in a room in so many different areas, they couldn't come to a decision on anything. They all hold hands at the end, have a gin and tonic, so it's all good." Despite Jones' cynicism, Erasmus saw tangible value in attending, particularly with a Rugby World Cup on the horizon. He emphasized that while it may not be essential to attend every annual meeting, participating in the summit a year out from the World Cup is strategically important. "We don't always go to all the Shape of the Game meetings, but we think, and most of the nations agreed with us, that you can skip one or two meetings, but you don't skip it 1 year out from a World Cup. If you do skip it, then you wait for the consequences," Erasmus noted. Praise for organization and structure. Erasmus reserved some rare compliment for World Rugby, noting that the meetings were professionally run and that committee members were committed to upholding rugby's core values while balancing the competing demands of the global game. "In the past, I haven't heard too many compliments for World Rugby, but it was well run, and input was given, and the committees stood their ground when they should have," he said. While complete consensus was not achieved on every issue, Erasmus highlighted that the discussions respected the diversity of opinions among participating nations. Teams were able to express their perspectives, whether it was about the culture and spirit of the game, law interpretations, or high-performance strategies. There wasn't an absolute agreement on everything. Teams enjoy certain facets of the game, and that was a nice thing that they started with the culture and spirit of the game. That came through well in the meeting. You sit there and think that guy's talking about what Fiji wants, but it's good because they won't get it all. Some of it we might use, but ultimately it came back to what's best for rugby. Input on law changes and global strategy. While Erasmus did not disclose specifics regarding the content of discussions, he confirmed that matters such as law adaptations, officiating standards, and global commercial considerations were discussed in depth. His presence allowed South Africa to ensure its perspective was heard on issues critical to the development of elite rugby, including player welfare, referee consistency, and the maintenance of rugby union's unique identity amid calls for faster, more fan-centric gameplay. Erasmus emphasized that the shape of the game meetings are designed not merely as a forum for debate, but as a mechanism to guide policy and align the global rugby community. Being part of the discussion allowed South Africa to contribute to these decisions, ensuring that future changes are balanced and considerate of all rugby-playing nations. Strategic timing ahead of the World Cup. With the Rugby World Cup approaching, the timing of the summit was critical. Erasmus pointed out that missing these discussions in the lead-up to a World Cup could leave national teams unprepared for law trials, rule interpretations, or officiating trends that could influence match strategy. It's one thing to do virtual calls or emails, but being in the room and seeing the discussions firsthand, you understand the nuances. You can influence decisions in real time and prepare your team accordingly, he explained. Overall, Erasmus deemed his first return to the shape of the game meeting since his ban as a worthwhile investment of time and effort. He believes that the combination of structured discussions, expert committees, and diverse international representation made it a productive forum, even if consensus was not reached on every issue. The summit allowed him to reconnect with global colleagues, provide input from South Africa's perspective, and gain insights into the evolving governance and strategy of international rugby. Most importantly, Erasmus felt the discussions were conducted with the game's best interests at heart, balancing national priorities with the global growth and development of rugby union. Sometimes you feel disconnected when you're only dealing with emails or virtual meetings. Being there in person, you realize how much effort goes into every decision, how everyone is balancing different needs, and you get a better perspective on what is happening globally. He concluded, as rugby continues to evolve, Erasmus' return to the summit demonstrates South Africa's commitment to shaping the sport's future, contributing to law discussions, and ensuring that elite rugby remains competitive, fair, and aligned with the spirit and culture of the game.